Hey everyone, Justin Holland here with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. I am a solo guest or co-host today on the show, and it's just me, and we're going to recap quite a bit that's going on in the industry that I want to make sure everybody out there, our listeners online and our viewers online as well, are aware of. There is a lot going on, so I cannot thank you enough for joining us again for today's show. I had a guest lined up, and something came up, so we're going to have them up on the following week, and then the next couple of weeks as well. We're going to have some additional guests to close out the holidays and the new year with. But again, it's the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. I'm Justin Holland with Texas State Insurance Services, or Texas State Insurance Services, and Palmetto Life Group. The reason I repeated that is because I'm looking at the video recording of the show and the backdrop behind me showing the companies. But Texas State Insurance Services is going to help you out with anything health insurance, employee benefits for small companies, Medicare plans for seniors, as well as individual health and short-term medical options out there, travel insurance. Texas State Insurance Services is our division that's going to help you there. And you can give us a call there at 210-880-5316. Palmetto Life Group is the division we created that just really focuses on life insurance, long-term care plans, and needs there. I'm a registered Social Security analyst, so we do the Social Security analysis through Palmetto Life Group as well. And then we've added auto and home and even commercial lines as well as umbrella through that division. We just we realized we could start doing that in-house, and we've been helping people with health insurance and life and all the other products for the past decade now, or 12 years, a little over a decade. And it was time to open that up to auto and home policy. So we're anxious and looking forward to helping our existing clients with that and future clients with that as well. But we're going to basically dive into this show on some of the things that we're seeing out there. Okay. And I think, let me look at my show notes here. I want to focus on really let's start with Medicare. Medicare open enrollment, or the annual enrollment period, started on October 15th, and it ends through December 7th. Okay. We are receiving a tremendous amount of calls to try to help people, help assess their current plans with us and their renewals with the changes that we've had out there, as well as people that have referred to us because they're like, "Hey, Justin, you did great by my neighbor, my boss, my client, or whatever, or friend. Please help us out with that." So just know that we are a growing brokerage. We want to help you regarding your health insurance review, specifically, obviously, Medicare right now because of the annual enrollment period. So some of the trends that we're seeing on the Medicare, let's discuss that. The first one, this was a scenario that's coming up where Medicare Advantage plans are in some places and areas around the country more than others are discontinuing their plan. Okay, I had a client a few weeks ago. She was on a Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Advantage plan, and it was going away. She got a notice and said, "Hey, listen, you're going to have to find another plan with us or somebody else, but you can't stay on this one." So she reached out to me. This is a colleague of mine from years ago, and she's like, "Justin, hey, I need your help on this. Let's see what we've got to work with." And I'm so glad she visited with me or reached out to me so we could visit, because we came up with a pretty cool solution for her. Now, because she lost her Medicare Advantage plan, she was given a special enrollment opportunity to go back to Medicare, to original Medicare, and have a medical supplement and a standalone prescription drug supplement. There's an added cost to that, so it's a little bit more expensive, but it would give her the peace of mind to be able to see any doctor that accepts Medicare. She'd be subject to a couple $100 deductible for her Part B, but she loved the fact that she could have that peace of mind and going back to original Medicare with the supplement. And here's why: she would typically not qualify for underwriting to go back to original Medicare and get on a supplement for the medical. This allowed her a one-time opportunity because the plan was going away to be able to do that. Medicare opened that up for her. So that was really cool. It gave her the peace of mind that she could get on original Medicare. And let's take scenarios. Why would that be the important? Well, when you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, remember it's a managed care plan. So it's ultimately taking over your Medicare A and B. All right. And it typically has, a prescription drug plan included in it, so you're compliant with Medicare on prescription drugs. It'll add dental and vision and hearing and all kinds of other stuff, over the counter gift cards, all this stuff on there. But it manages your Medicare and A and B and your prescription drugs. So you're gonna have to utilize their network, or you're gonna have out of network exposure. So sometimes doctors are not in those networks, and that could be for a HMO style plan for them. It could also be for their PPO network. And just as a reminder, PPO networks on Medicare Advantage plans are very different than maybe the group sponsored health insurance PPO that you might have had prior. So it's very important to look at that. Most people say, "Hey, Justin, I want the PPO." Well, let's make sure that that's the case. So the Medicare Advantage is basically managing the A and B, and you're subject to that network. When this client reached out, she's able to go on original Medicare and see any doctor that she wants. If there's a cancer diagnosis, God forbid, for a client on these plans, they're going to be able to go to MD Anderson, and utilize coverage and care through their supplement. I have had many clients where they reach out after the fact and want to get back on original Medicare with a supplement, and they're not going to qualify. They just don't. They're too sick. They've got a medical condition that's just too risky. Or in some cases, the premiums are rated higher, and they're like, "No, I just can't afford it. I'm going to stay put." So this was pretty fun to help out a handful of clients. I just brought up one of them, but we had a handful of them where they're losing their Medicare Advantage plan, and we're able to take care of or take advantage of a special enrollment period and get on a Medicare medical supplement. Now, I will tell you, years prior of people trying to do that, sometimes they were taking some very expensive medications, and that was the gotcha. Their maximums, their donut holes. It would take them a few $1,000s to get into the donut hole of Medicare that is no longer there now, and a few $1,000s to get out of that donut hole into catastrophic coverage. It was tough. Had many clients that were just spending thousands and thousands of dollars on their prescription drug plans, and our hands were tied. It was difficult because some carriers and formularies were stronger than others, or just medications weren't flat out in the formulary, and the client had to just take on that burden of the expensive medications. As of last year, going into this year, we saw the maximum limits cap out at 2,000 instead of 8,000. That was tremendous help. That was a win. Okay, for many agents and brokers out there helping out clients and the consumers that are on Medicare, that really came in handy or helpful to help offset the cost of those medications for those individuals that had higher tier medications there. So that's a good news that we've seen. But that was really the hindrance on people going to a Medicare supplement plan and a separate prescription drug plan, because a lot of times the Medicare Advantage plans would be stronger or more generous on their formulary for those plans on those higher tier medications. Now we're seeing a swing on both of those. So that's a really cool scenario that I wanted to dive into as far as getting a qualifying event or an opportunity to get out of a Medicare Advantage plan and get into a Medicare standalone Medicare medical supplement along with your original Medicare. Formularies on the prescription drugs for Medicare. Let's talk about that a little bit. So it never fails. Every year we're doing reviews and we plug in. We have a really slick system where we can size up the Medicare plans for the individuals that we're trying to help. We're doing an annual review on. And some medications are not covered by particular companies, and some of them are. And some of them are a specific tier level with one carrier, and with another carrier, they're different. So it's a dance on prescription drugs. And what makes this even tougher on agent brokers like ourselves with Texas State Insurance Services, many of the carriers are no longer compensating us as agent brokers to help people field their prescription drug plans, okay, on their standalone prescription drugs specifically. So that scenario of client that has a standalone Medicare medical supplement and a standalone prescription drug plan, um, don't be surprised if your agent or broker says, "Hey, listen, I just can't help you. You're going to have to do this directly on your own and figure that out." Some of these agent brokers are charging a fee to do that analysis. You're technically not supposed to do that in our industry. I have a feeling that could change, especially as these carriers are no longer compensating us for helping guide our clients into the specific prescription drug plans. I'm taking a different approach on that. Okay. And that could be detrimental to my business and company, but I'm an entrepreneur and that's what we do. I am not charging a fee with our brokerage to help you assess your prescription drug plans. All I ask is keep us in mind for other lines of insurance that you might need with us. Refer us to friends and family that might need some assistance on their insurance as well. So, I hope we don't have to get to charging a fee on prescription drug plan reviews. That could come up, but right now, all I'm saying, hey, be patient with us. There's hundreds and hundreds of people that are getting disrupted on their individual health insurance, which we haven't even talked about yet, or their Medicare. So we'd love to help you do a review, size that up, and see if we can help you with that. And typically, we can do that within about 15 minutes. We send you out a consent form questionnaire with permission to get some details from you on doctors and medications, and then we can help with that analysis and review. But prescription drugs, um, it's been difficult because they are probably the most time consuming portion of a Medicare review. And when you've got a small brokerage like us that's growing, sometimes these disruptions can affect us. So I appreciate everybody's patience. If I've got some clients out there listening to the show or watching the video, we're trying to do these assessments and reviews as fast as we can, and especially with the disruptions and the changes that Medicare has had that we've been needing to navigate around. Again, everybody, you're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. I'm your host, Justin Holland with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. Just a reminder that we've got this show to be able to provide some awareness here on the KTSA 550 station, as well as a podcast that goes out nationally, and then the video shorts that we're putting on our YouTube channel as well. We're pretty excited. After it took 9 episodes, and I finally got us a YouTube account to have all of our videos and our shorts there. So I'm gonna ask you, hey, like and follow our YouTube channel just like everybody else asks you to do. The handle is youtube.com/at Mad Insurance Show. And or you can just go to YouTube, type in Mad Insurance Show. You'll see a handful of our shows that we've done online, and as well as this one coming up soon. So we'd love to have you as a follower and a subscriber to our show. Please share it out with the others. I think we're one of the few brokers that are trying to take the time to help provide awareness on everything insurance. That goes from health insurance, employee benefits, Medicare for seniors, life insurance, long-term care, social security analysis, auto, home, and umbrella policies as well, and commercial where that's needed. So like and follow the Mad Insurance Show on YouTube. And if you needed to see any episodes, you can go from the prior shows to view those. You can also see us on the KTSA website as well. It's got a list of all of our shows and the track record that we've had. And this is our 10th show, I believe. So I'm pretty excited. We're 10 episodes in, and we're trying to get the hang of the videos and the recording show here for the local KTSA listeners around the San Antonio metro. But we can't thank you enough for joining us here on the Mad Insurance Show. And one more thing before I get back onto our topics. If you need help on your health insurance, whether it be Medicare plans for seniors, employee benefits for groups, or individual health insurance, which is going through a significant change right now. I'm going to discuss that here in just a minute. Please reach out to us at Texas State Insurance Services at the phone number 210-880-5316, or you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com, complete our contact form, and either get a call back from me or even Lydia in the office, and we'll line up a time to review any health insurance needs you got. And if you need something regarding the life insurance and the long-term care planning, or a home and umbrella quote or review, you can reach out to our Palmetto Life Group division through that same number as well. Just let us know, and we will line up a visit for you and a review. So I want to get back on some of the topics that we've got for the show. We just spent about 10, 15 minutes on Medicare, and brought up some scenarios there that we wanted to discuss or bring to the table on formularies, plans exiting the market, and providing special enrollment opportunities for those that might not have traditionally qualified or passed underwriting to go back to original Medicare and a supplement. So that was a good discussion there, and hopefully that helps our audience with some opportunities out there to help them with their current Medicare annual enrollment period. Affordable Care Act, ACA, Obamacare, the health insurance marketplace. It's got many names. We are in the midst of that annual renewal as well. Okay. So the health insurance marketplace has been a hot topic. Since last week, when we had our show, we were still in a government shutdown. Okay. And that was because of the battle between left and right on these expanded tax credits that I will tell you and candidly bring up helped out millions of people. These expanded tax credits, I'm going to spend a little time on this conversation, came in and helped, a middle class portion of the population. I think it was like 7 million people or more. I had many clients that, going in with these expanded tax credits, finally got some relief on their premiums. They went from $1,800 to $2,000 premiums that we were initially quoting down to $500 to $600. That's significant. That was still a high health insurance premium in some cases. However, it provided the peace of mind and the coverage for their family members and even themselves in some aspects of that. So the government shutdown was basically based on these expanded tax credits. I think the right and the left, more the right leaning of the government, doesn't realize how impactful this is going to be for millions and millions of people. I like to call out both sides of our government. I've seen good, I've seen bad, I've seen the ugly over the past 12 years in this industry. The Trump administration had a prior 4 years to be able to make Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, better. Okay. They did not. They did not make it any better. And they had an opportunity to tweak that. They told us they were, but they didn't follow through with that. So I've got a problem with that because it's affecting a lot of good people out there that we serve with their health insurance and try to navigate these costs and the scenarios that they have to go up against for individual health insurance, specifically those ones that just are not offered coverage through an employer or health insurance through an employer, or it's just unaffordable. They just can't stretch that dollar to make that work through their employer-sponsored coverage, and it really doesn't become affordable when you add a spouse or dependent children, one or the other or both, onto your employer-sponsored plan. So something's got to get fixed. We are seeing the health insurance industry crack right now. Okay, from small and large group benefits packages that we do for our clients on their employee benefits, 48%, 50+%. We saw 100+% increase in their group premium. That's unsustainable. You can't expect a company to bankroll and help subsidize the health insurance for their employees when they're getting slammed with these type of increases. I just had a handful of conversations prior to recording the show this morning, early morning, with some of our really good clients. And these are friends of mine over the years that we're helping out trying to help them offer affordable health insurance for their valued employees, and it's not fun. It's really tough situations, and some of them we're getting creative with, and some of them we're kind of tied up on being able to provide them. So the health insurance on group is under attack right now with high cost. You've gotten the Medicare part of the industry that plans are exiting the market. They're lowering the benefits on these plans. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some companies that are absolutely stepping up and really engaging and trying to help the consumer. I'll tell you, I'll get a plug right now. Scan Health, the leadership at Scan Health is really trying to help and embrace that Medicare consumer, and they're also helping empower and strengthening us, the broker agent. So a lot of people haven't heard of them, but they've been around for years. I think almost 50 years now, and we've been pleasantly surprised on what they're bringing to the table on standard Medicare Advantage plans and their chronic plan that they have available to our local consumers here. They're in specific markets, but thank you, Scan Health. You guys are really stepping it up. The support that we've been getting is dynamite. So I can't thank y'all enough off of that. But back to Medicare, that segment of the business is under fire with plan changes, updates, the government scaling back funding for some of these advantage plans, and those benefits could be shrinking. And the fact that plans are exiting markets, the fact that I have clients and we're receiving letters saying, hey, you're losing your plan, there's a disruption there on the Medicare side of the business. Then you've got the Affordable Care Act that now I'm going on a tangent here, on the disruption of the entire industry. But Affordable Care Act premiums are just not affordable. I had a lady in tears at the office because her premium went from $200 a month to almost $1,000, and she was struggling just to cover the $200 a month premium, and that's a high deductible plan. So let's break this down on the individual health insurance that we're seeing. If in those scenarios where you don't qualify for an expanded tax credit, you could have an exorbitant health insurance premium. And not only that, if you get sick, the out-of-pocket maximum is additional exposure that you have. So let's say you spend, in this case, almost $1,000 a month on a premium for one person, and that's $12,000 a year. They're on a high deductible plan. Something significant comes up, and they've got another $10,000 of out-of-pocket exposure. That is not every scenario, but these are some of those extreme scenarios that are happening to millions of people out there, and it needs to be addressed. So back to what I was, getting my blood pressure up about, we're witnessing cracks and a significant disruption in all aspects of health insurance. The employer-sponsored plans, the Affordable Care Act individual plans, as well as the Medicare. And then you've got chaos in between there too on, hey, is there short-term medical plans that we can look at to try to so clients can have some type of protection. Some of these individuals that are losing their expanded tax credits, we're struggling to see if they will even qualify for underwriting on health coverage plans or short-term medical plans to try to bridge the gap until our government and legislatures say, hey, we've got to get a handle on this health insurance situation for the individual consumer. And that's a challenge. And I'll have to repeat myself from earlier today. Be patient with your agent broker. Please be patient with us here locally. We are having to look at multiple scenarios and get creative, and it's taking a little time. Many of our clients were able to size up the situation, get them on a plan, and they're in a reasonable spot to work with, or they're happy with what they've got, and it's business as usual. But many other clients that we care for and that we want to serve are taking a little bit more time for us to be able to put some solutions together. And I mean, literally, we're working from 8 to 8 with nonstop calls and visits. And then we still need time to analyze and get caught back up on quotes and options for the consumer as well. So I'm personally handling every single enrollment for our company. It's overwhelming. It's a tremendous amount of pressure, but it's helping me get one more year of a handle on the disruption that we're seeing so we can bring in the right people and the staff that we want for the company to help our clients for the long haul. I am playing the long game in this industry. Okay, so if you're not a client right now, I hope that you can be one of our clients in the future if you see the value that we bring to the table in this industry and the heart and the compassion we give to really try to find the right solutions and help our clients and have them be clients for many years to come. But the Affordable Care Act, which I was saying a minute ago, the expanded tax credits, is a huge disruption because you're not only having to deal with the health insurance premiums going up, you're having to deal with the fact of not qualifying for an initial tax credit. I'm sorry, an expanded tax credit to bring those premiums lower. There's a few carriers that are exiting markets on the individual health insurance. I brought this up on prior shows. Aetna actually they had a pretty good amount of market share. San Antonio, South Texas markets on their HMO individual plan. That is going away. So we've been helping many clients navigate away from their Aetna individual health insurance plan and look at alternatives specifically here for South Texas, San Antonio South, and even down to the Rio Grande Valley, somewhat of Laredo and Eagle Pass in that area. Blue Cross Blue Shield is available in every market around the country, around the state. I'm sorry, I don't know about the country, but Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas had one of the highest increases. So you might have to stick with Blue Cross Blue Shield if you're not wanting to lose doctors or have a disruption there on the network. But Ambetter came second in line, the second highest of increases there. They have an EPO plan that was very popular in San Antonio and South Texas. An EPO plan is basically in between an HMO and a PPO. PPO, remember, is going to be a preferred provider organization. You're going to be able to utilize any doctor. In most cases, not need a referral to see a specialist or have your primary care doctor, basically refer you to a specialist. An HMO is going to be a management organization to where you've got a primary care doctor selected, and that primary care doctor, in most cases, is going to need to refer you to a specialist doctor in the network and options you've got there. An EPO is going to meet you in the middle where, hey, you got to still have a primary care doctor in most cases, but you won't need a specialist referral to see a specialist. So it gives you some flexibility there. And Ambetter had a pretty solid EPO plan. It's just we're already looking at where some individuals are going to have to make a tough decision based on cost. Probably the most competitive carriers. I was helping a gentleman late last night here locally in San Antonio, Imperial Health, which is an up and comer in the individual health insurance market, was his better option compared to United Healthcare and even Oscar Health. A lot of people haven't even heard of Oscar. Oscar's been around over a decade. The jury was out on them when they first came into the individual health insurance space, but they have been a good carrier. I have them personally. I don't know if I'm going to stick with Oscar, but for my family and I, my wife and I, we've been pleased with the Oscar coverage. Just to get personal, I had a medical situation come up this past summer, and I was pleased with Oscar on how my EPO plan with them took care of me and gave myself and my wife some peace of mind on the health insurance there. So you got options there. Most people are having to shop their health insurance and not just put an easy button and renew as is because of the disruptions on the premiums that we're seeing and the overall cost coming up on the expanded tax credits. Now, I had a conversation with a client this morning, and they just they don't want an HMO. They don't want the marketplace plans, and it's just really not an option for them. That's what they're telling me. Until we navigate and show them, hey, you can go find a health coverage plan online that'll piggyback off of a PPO network, but it's health coverage. Pre-existing conditions are going to apply. They might not cover specific medications. You might not even be approved for the application just because something flagged it from your health from years ago. But they're out there. You can go on the internet and find all these companies out there. And one of them was talking to me about a company in Nebraska with Blue Cross. It's like, I've never heard of them. We deal with the local insurance companies, and even coverage options or short-term medical here at a local level, we typically don't go outside of that because we know the importance of sticking with a true health insurance plan. But just make sure you're doing a complete review. You're looking at all options. Back to what I was saying a moment ago, they didn't want a marketplace plan. They didn't want an HMO or an EPO. They wanted a PPO plan. And I was like, okay, do you have a small business? And they're like, yeah, actually we do. Okay, let's entertain a small group benefits plan and see if that can be an option. It's not going to be cheap, but for what some of these individuals are having to pay on a marketplace plan, we might need to look at a small group business plan for them and give them that PPO network and plans options that they need. Okay. So we do that for many individuals and clients here in South Texas and San Antonio area, actually around the state, and it's become very helpful. And when those individuals need that PPO network, and hey, money's not a object. We got a child here with a serious medical condition, or we got a serious medical diagnosis for somebody that can come in despite the cost and give you some peace of mind of the network and coverage or health insurance that you want to have in place. We'll take a quick pause here and just make sure we got show identification. You're listening to the Mad Insurance Show, Making a Difference in Insurance. I'm your host, Justin Holland, with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. Remember, Texas State Insurance Services handles all of our health insurance clients. That could be individual health insurance, Medicare for seniors, small employee benefits. And you can reach us at 210-880-5316 or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. If you're needing assistance with life insurance, long-term care planning, auto and home insurance, that's where you'll reach out to our Palmetto Life Group division. You can actually find Palmetto Life Group online at palmettolifegroup.com. We've got 4 locations here in San Antonio where we can visit clients at. We can visit you at your home or office as well, or we can do an online call. But we've got 4 locations in San Antonio around town to where we try to make it convenient for visits with our clients, as well as a location in McAllen, Texas, serving all of the Rio Grande Valley. So we're trying to make sure we're convenient and accommodating to our clients. A lot of visits online actually recently, just because we're having to talk to so many people. So a phone call and online visit has been a tremendous help on making sure we can reach out and assist everybody out there. We were talking about the Affordable Care Act marketplace plans, the looming storm that we're in on the 2026 renewal. Let's talk about making sure you use a local broker. This is important because especially in the Medicare field, the Medicare insurance or individual health insurance. If you've got a good broker that cares and wants to visit and help you review plans and options, they're going to look at every option that you've got. Okay. They're also going to have candid conversations with you. If one carrier looks better than the other, or plans with you, we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to, we're going to let you know, hey, this is why you need to consider this carrier. This is why you need to consider this one. I'd be cautious here. And there's a lot of agent brokers out there that will be maybe specific to one carrier. Let's kind of break that down. An agent is typically somebody that works directly with an insurance carrier. Okay. So they're with a Humana, they're with a Blue Cross or a United. They're on their payroll and they're going to focus just on that company's plan. A broker is going to be appointed and aligned with all the carrier plans out there for individual and Medicare and group. A broker is really going to sit down and assess all the options. So I like differentiating agent. Now, you could be an agent of a broker, so to speak, but if you're an independent agent, there's agents that are aligned with brokers where you can shop everything. And then there's agents that are just dedicated to a particular carrier. So you need to know who you're dealing with. So when you talk to somebody, hey, find out if they're just aligned with one company and carrier, or they're a brokered agent, and they can see all the carriers and options that you got. And I'm seeing that a lot more than ever right now with the this enrollment season that we've got on the individual health insurance and the Medicare plans. make sure you are visiting with a local broker, a trusted broker. We'd love to be your agent broker through Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. But we're just trying to encourage listeners and viewers of the show, find a reputable person and look at that. I have a feeling we're going to see a thin of the herd over this year and the following years as we see these disruptions with health insurance, of brokers and agents out there. It's tough. I have been there. I started out doing little tabletops at the local grocery store here with HEB. I saw the Facebook memories, of me doing the event like 12 years ago, and there were points where, getting through the Affordable Care Act and individual health, my wife was looking, it's like, man, are you sure you want to do this? This is tough. And yeah, I wanted to keep doing it. We're helping a lot of people, and sometimes that can be the detriment of family times and my own personal time. But we're vested in this company. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. We've got a plan to help out as many people as we can, and we're still here. So just know where I'm getting with this part of the conversation on the show is we're playing the long game. We want to be here and be your agent for many years to come. I want to be your agent and broker of choice for your family members, for your friends, for your children, grandchildren. We want to keep that going as long as we can and are allowed to be in this industry and business and help that consumer out. So that's important for me to relay to our listeners out there. We have talked about Medicare. We've talked about individual health insurance. We've talked about the individual health insurance premiums going up. Um, let's talk about another scenario here. I'm looking at my notes, guys, on this, on what I want to review. And I want to discuss direct primary care and maybe a high deductible strategy. And where I'm going with this conversation is we've got a vendor that provides a direct primary care where we can help individuals with a plan and even group companies with a plan where you've got access to medical doctors very quickly or urgent care, as well as telehealth and some prescription drug discounts. So a direct primary care plan in most cases is going to be much less expensive than a fully insured or insurance plan out there. It's just going to take care of the day-to-day doctor stuff. Urgent care, maybe you got a broken bone that can be taken care of in an urgent care, maybe a significant flu that you've got going on. Urgent care will help out with that. Or you can just wait until Monday, over a weekend and just visit one of the primary care doctors. But if that interests you, let us know and we'll look at a direct primary care model that you can take advantage of and try to keep the costs low and have access to some health care. Okay. With doctors and urgent cares. The other flip side of that coin is the catastrophic exposure that people have on their health insurance or their health. If something significant comes up, maybe we look at a high deductible plan that doesn't have copays or anything. It's just a high deductible plan, and you've got coverage for those. Hey, if it's over $10,000 or $15,000, they're going to cover everything above and beyond that. That could be something that we need to consider on the direct primary care solution with a high deductible strategy. There are indemnity plans as well that we need to take a look at. I've got some individuals that they're just going to go without health insurance. And I don't recommend that, but I do recommend having something that's going to cover maybe up to $15,000 of a critical injury or something significant that comes up, or there's an emergency room visit. And as anybody that's going to the emergency room, those are typically easily thousands of dollars on those visits, and that can be crippling. So there are some other scenarios too where we need to consider when it's on an individual health insurance plan and you have to go to a higher deductible plan. Sometimes hospital networks and local medical facilities have grants and they have solutions to be able to help those that would qualify for some assistance. So we can't rule out the local hospital networks and nonprofits that possibly can come in with some of that exposure as well. I have a feeling that's going to shrink with more exposure, and especially in some of the rural areas where maybe costs are getting cut back, where they might have had more access to funding off of that. But again, that's another solution or scenario that we need to consider for that. Thanks again for listening to the Mad Insurance Show. This is your host, Justin Holland, with Texas State Insurance Services and Palmetto Life Group. Texas State Insurances is going to be able to help you out with your individual health insurance review and options, as well as Medicare plan reviews and options for seniors. And we can also help out with small employee benefits plans and see if you've got the best benefits plan offering now. Excuse me. Or you might want to take a look at offering a new offering of benefits as well for your company. You could be an established business or a brand new business. Doesn't matter. We'd love to help you take a look at those or re-entertain those just in case you looked at them before and it just didn't work out and want to reassess the opportunity to offer benefits as well. Palmetto Life Group is going to help you out with life insurance, long-term care planning, Social Security analysis, as well as auto and home and umbrella policies. So we've got two different divisions in the insurance business, and it's important for y'all to know that. If you need any help with your insurance or have questions, feel free to give us a call at 210-880-5316 or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com or palmettolifegroup.com, and we'd love to help you out whenever you reach out to us. So we've been talking about Medicare. We've been talking about individual health insurance. I brought up a moment ago the importance of considering short-term medical plans or maybe a direct primary care with or without a high deductible model on health insurance that you would want to take a look at. Let's talk about employee benefits. Let's take a few minutes and discuss that for right now. So if you're listening to this to the show or viewing the podcast, employee benefits has been a challenge, whether it's a 1 to 2 person group to 2,000 plus employees. Some of them are in better shape than others. I mentioned earlier in the show, we've been seeing some significant increases on employee benefits. I think I only had 2 out of the tens and hundreds of clients that we manage employee benefits on that had a single-digit increase, and it probably should have been 1. There was 1 that squeaked by, I think, when I was talking to one of the ladies in the office when we were doing the review for a particular client. 2 out of hundreds of clients, employee benefits clients, had single-digit increases. Everybody else was double digits, whether that was 12%, 30%, 40%, and like I mentioned earlier, there was a triple-digit increase for a small group plan that we saw come through, and that is tough. That that puts a stress on the small business that wants to offer and subsidize the health insurance for their value and trusted employees. So it's more important than ever to make sure you're just not pressing the easy button and just renewing as is and taking on increases. You want to look at opportunities to possibly make some changes. And in employee benefits, specifically on the small group plans, let's talk 50 and below employees, you can take a look at fully insured options where they're basically going to look at the age and they're going to average the ages together and come up and formulate a premium. That can be significantly higher if there's an older population versus the younger population that enrolled. It's not just eligibility. That those premiums are going to be based on the amount of people that are enrolled in the plan and take their age factor. They're not going to assess it for the ones that don't come on the plan. But fully insured is sometimes the best or only route that we've got for some of our small group clients. There's level funded options out there as well. There's only a handful of carriers that are offering level funded plans. And ultimately what that is the insurance company is going to assess the risk on the census that we provide with the employees' details and information and say, hey, listen, you know what? This is a pretty healthy group of employees. We're going to actually lower the rates than what they typically would be. and then some of that premium will go into a bucket to help cover any claims as they come up. For some our groups, that is a great and it's a dynamite option for our small groups. For some of them, not so much. Some of them finally get a renewal because they got popped on some claims, and we have to have a tough conversation if we stay put with that level funded option, or hopefully have another carrier to bounce into. Excuse me. The options are not plentiful on group benefits. There's just a handful of carriers out there. Now, there are some carriers that are coming to market that we like, that we're seeing, and they've created some opportunities and some choices instead of your just standard insurance companies out there, that the big namers that have been around for years. So we're hopefully going to see more carriers maybe come to the table, although I don't know if that will be the case. I think we're going to see consolidation with carriers. I think everybody's buckling down on cost. I saw an article last week, and I need to revisit that article. I'll try to have that ready for the next show. On don't be surprised if you see these major carriers start merging. Okay, that could shrink. As much as me as a broker agent would love to have more options to provide our clients, I don't know how realistic that will be. Maybe if there's some significant changes or updates in health insurance legislation, maybe that could be a factor in that. But I just don't know. We're just kind of in a holding pattern in our industry and just trying to get through this enrollment season into 2026 for Medicare, individual ACA health plans, as well as the group benefits plans. But when we're talking about employee benefits on small companies, typically fully insured based on the ages of the employees, and then we can look at level funded and assess the risk with the carrier and maybe get some more aggressive rates. So if you haven't entertained or looked at both of those options, maybe you have in the past and it wasn't the right time, let us know. We'd love to visit with you regarding that. And again, that number to reach out to us is 210-880-5316, or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. The other thing that I want to talk about on employee benefits is sometimes it makes sense to just offer some ancillary options, a really solid dental and vision plan, maybe some life insurance options, along with short term and long term disability. Just because you do not offer health insurance for your employees, maybe we help a solution and help your evaluated employees shop their individual plans. And then we also help with a group sponsored plan, maybe, or offering voluntary for all the other supplemental benefits out there. Now, a lot of individuals are utilizing Aflac, they're using Colonial Life, great companies. However, there are other options out there with some other companies that can help provide maybe some benefits that aren't offered, or even provide some more aggressive cost on that too. So if you've got that Aflac or that Colonial policy in place that you might have had for years or just a year, let us know and we'll help shop that. Because utilizing a broker like us, we're not just going to look at the Aflacs or the Colonials. We're going to look at the Guardians, the Mutual of Omahas, the Principals. We're going to look and broker that out to every carrier. Where you might have a rep that's specific to a company, we're going to look at all of them. So I can't stress the importance enough. If you've got some of those options, maybe not a health insurance option, but the ancillary benefits, cancer policies, critical illness policies, let us come in and take a look at that. We'd love to visit and review that and see if there's some solutions that haven't been brought to the table. And at the same time, we'll look at individual health and maybe even group health insurance plans to consider too. I think ICHRA's individual health insurance reimbursement programs are going to um, get better. Hopefully, I think there was some legislation that I think should have passed for this year that was not, regarding individual health reimbursement options, to where an employer can say, "Hey, we're no longer going to offer a group benefits plan. We're just going to help the employees with the cost of their individual plan." And what's cool about that is that's going to empower the employee to choose the plan that they want that would fit their needs and not just be subject to the group offering that the company's offering. And then especially if there's doctors or or deductibles that they can't afford, or even premiums. And then it also frees up the employer to going toe to toe with their group benefits renewal every year on, in most cases, getting an increase. Some of our group benefits clients, I get it, they're fatigued. They're like, Justin, every year it's a fight or an increase, and we're just getting hammered here. And we help them get through it. But I understand their frustration, and I think ICRAs are going to be something we need to really look strongly at, and that plays into the individual health insurance landscape, and then just allows the employer to contribute to that. So that's something that I think we will visit with many clients next year, especially if legislation comes in and really makes those more attractive, tax credits, whatever they want to do, to where we can incentivize that with small group insurance plans in the future. So that kind of talks about employee benefits that I wanted to discuss. I know I'm leaving some stuff out, but I'm here every week, so that'll be another topic coming up on the next shows. Life insurance with living benefits, long-term care. This is something that I am very passionate about in our industry, that I think we need to keep in mind for everybody. Um, we have 100% mortality rate. We ain't making it out of here alive. So everybody's going to is going to die at some point, and some of us sooner than later. And sometimes it's not even about dying with the life insurance policy. It's about living. And I'll see a lot of people or influencers online try to pitch living benefits, and it's important to bring that up, because if we're in an accident and that accident doesn't kill us, if you're killed in an accident or a medical condition that kills you and you have life insurance, that death benefit's going to go to the family, okay, or should be, depending on how it's designed and the beneficiaries and all that. Whole nother topic. But if you have an accident or a medical condition that hasn't killed you yet, but you're in pretty serious shape, those living benefits in the policy could come in and help you with a critical illness, with a terminal illness, with a critical injury, where you were injured significantly and maybe you can't work and you need to access that death benefit before you die. It's very important to make sure you have a life insurance policy, or can get into a life insurance policy, if at all possible, that has living benefits. Reach out to us at Palmetto Life Group to review that, or Texas State Insurance Services, and let's take a look at that. Because the living benefits, I think, is just, people aren't talking about it enough. So let us know if we can do a life insurance review for you on a policy that would have living benefits embedded in that. It's going to be based on underwriting and based on the carrier, but we'll get some information. We'll send you a life insurance survey. It'll give us some data very quickly for us to be able to populate and assess some plans and options for you, a loved one, or employees. A lot of times, a group-sponsored health and life insurance plan is not going to give you enough death benefit. It's also, in most cases, not portable, or if it is portable, it's just not affordable if you're able to take that life insurance from your employer with you. So I think it's important to bring this up, that just because you have life insurance with your employer, and if you're an employer listening to the show right now or seeing this video, know that sometimes your valued employees might not have enough life insurance with the employer-sponsored plan and the voluntary benefit. Okay, you're capped at those, and sometimes on underwriting. And we've got individuals say, "Hey, Justin, this $20,000 policy is great. You're right; it's going to get me in the dirt and help take care of funeral arrangements. But I have a I have a $500,000 home that I need to insure and make sure that debt is wiped out for my loved ones, so they can mourn me and get on with your lives, but also take a piece out of that debt and exposure because of the loss of my income." So very important life insurance reviews. I wanted to make sure, I guess I'll end the show based on that, with life insurance and with living benefits. We can help with long-term care plans out there. They are expensive. They can get a little costly. However, let's take a look at the review. Let's do a life insurance assessment and see what options you have or what you could qualify for. A lot of people have had life insurance for many years, and they just don't analyze it and take a look at what they could maybe convert to, and that's important. If we're changing our cell phone every few years, that technology has evolved, and you got the newest and best cell phone out there. Although I see some flip phones and razors out there as well, the life insurance industry has significantly changed over the past 5 years, and especially the past 15 to 20 years. So reach out to us for that review as well. I cannot thank you enough for joining us for the Mad Insurance Show today. Again, this is our 10th episode. We're so excited that you joined us today, either online or over the KTSA radio waves here on KTSA 550 and 107. And we're so glad that you joined us. We hope you visit with us or join us again next week. And again, if you have any questions or need any assistance with your insurance needs, give us a call at 210-880-5316, or you can visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. And we'd love to help do the assessment of your insurance needs. And we can't thank y'all for joining us on the show. Hopefully we'll have another guest, and I won't be a solo host for this show, but we had plenty to talk about in the industry. And again, it's Justin Holland with the Mad Insurance Show, making a difference in insurance. 210-880-5316, or visit us online at txstateinsurance.com. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.